Peace of the Lord be with you. This is the Son of the Most Sorrowful YouTube channel. And it's important that you depart from your family to be with God. Okay? Now, there's a couple of different things to be aware of, right? It's like if you're living in there's a lot of young people. I'm making this video specifically for like the young people living at home, right? That have this desire to see and visit God at odd hours of the night, at the expense of being at work or picking up hours, and especially, to the point of the video, at the expense of spending quality time with family, right? I'm here to say it's okay to do that. You're actually expected to do that. And as our Lord says in Matthew chapter 10, that those are the enemies, your enemies will be those of your own household, right? So in seeking the Lord, it's your own family that is it's gonna feel like betrayal, man, because I remember when I converted and started going to church, and then I started really going to church. It happened very, very quickly. My parents were not expecting it. And I mean, it was kind of like to the point where I was waiting for that time to come where my parents would like be proud of me, and they'd be inspired by how much I was going to church, and that they would want to join. And I mean, I'm not trying to put my parents on the spot, but just so that the Lord's promise, or what He says, in order for it to be true, it has to manifest. You know what I mean? So if you're seeking the Lord more than anyone in your own house, in your immediate family, in your brothers and your sisters and your parents, maybe it's not quite the same for extended relatives, because it doesn't hit the same. It just depends. I feel like because they're not as close to you, and the time that you spend with them is more casual, and like you're not with them all the time. Just depends. Again, it depends on household to household. It might be different for you. You might be the exception, that you see your cousin all the time, like a brother or sister, or you see your aunt and uncle all the time, like a second set of parents. It's not uncommon. What I'm referring to is like specifically your mom and dad, your brother, your sister. Okay, as it says in scripture. So it's necessary to endure this. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. For me, it was one of the most heartbreaking things. I actually tell people sometimes, because I mean, I've made my peace with it at this point. But at the time, man, it used to make me sick to my stomach how true it was. How true it was that you would be so hated and so criticized. And they would really, really give you a hard time for wanting to go seek the Lord and to be with God more. They would say that it's unreasonable. They would say, oh, didn't you already go to Mass? Okay. Well, yeah, but I want to go to 2 more. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but okay, that's not how that works, but I want to. It's like, I used to go bar hopping. Now I'm going to church hopping, and you're just as upset, if not even more. It really is mind-blowing. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with you. It's doesn't even really, I don't think, have anything to do with them. It's really spiritual warfare that it comes down to. But it's important that we go through this so that we learn to hold our peace. So that we learn, again, that's something that I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot on this channel. Is like, we got to learn to get punched in the face. Okay, so that to the point where it no longer hurts. Okay, and we can, we have grown in virtue by grace. We have grown in patience. We have grown in long suffering. Okay, so I want to still encourage you to continue to do that. You don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to engage. You're like, you know what, mom, dad, brother, sister, sorry you feel that way. I just really, it's important. One thing that I really did that I don't want people to do, or that I really want to warn against, is please don't become upset. You know what I mean? That and it is upsetting. It is very sad, right? Especially like when your family is already Catholic and you're just like, and they're just like, aren't you? Don't you think you're going overboard? Or like you don't have to spend so much time with the Lord, and you feel quite the opposite. You feel like, man, like I'm missing out on valuable hours in adoration right now. You know what I mean? Try to be careful how you say things. Don't you don't want to make your family feel like I did. I made my family feel, I'm sorry family. Like the way that I said it, I made it sound like I felt like I was wasting my time by being with them. You know what I mean? And the thing is, it's not true, right? Being with your family is not a waste of time necessarily. Okay, now if your family is constantly doing things, and you can't judge them because you have also to some degree lived or have partaken in habits that are not really productive to a spiritual life. Okay, that's the majority of the world, so you can't really say like, oh well, avoid saying things because it's not charitable. You don't want to be saying like, oh, it's just because I don't think this is productive, and like, oh, this is all you guys want to do. You're gonna pull yourself into the Pharisee spirit and cooperation with the Pharisee spirit very quickly if you behave like that, and you have that outlook that it's a waste of time to you know spend it with your family, right? You should remain charitable towards them, but just say like, look, I respect the fact that you guys want to, you know, do these things or do these activities. I just, for myself, I really want to be at mass right now. I really want to go to adoration right now. Like, and if that upsets you, I'm sorry. I don't mean to upset you. But just I'm gonna go. Excuse me. And hold your peace. Hold your peace. It is so important to hold your peace. And the thing is, in spending those long hours with the Lord, is in going into meditative prayer and going into long hours, reading the scriptures and fasting and all this stuff, it really transforms you. It really transforms you. You become a different person. You know what I mean? So it's necessary for you to grow spiritually. You have to take that step and depart from your family and be with the Lord longer hours than you are with your family. And if you're a young adult, it's okay. It's okay to want that for yourself, to live it and to practice it. It's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel good. You're going to lose. You need to lose. And I think this brings like the driving point of the video. I think it comes down to passing the family test. Okay? You have to be able to be willing to lose your family for the sake of the Lord. Okay? You can't be attached to your family. Your family will not save you. Your family is not Jesus. Okay? Yeah, your family is important. You should love them. Absolutely. Should you cause a ruckus, or should you cause a headache, or should you, make them feel bad about where they're at spiritually? Absolutely not. And that's a mistake that I made. Family, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I thought that I was better. I forgot that I was a miserable sinner too. Okay, I forgot that, and my parents were there to remind me. It's like, it wasn't that long ago, and my brothers too, with good reason. It wasn't that long ago that you were a miserable drug addict, and you were drinking to the point where you were passing out. So like, with what authority like you speak to us in this way now? Rightfully so, to tell me those things. You know what I mean? Because I did forget. You know what I mean? I thought I was holy and this and that. So, fam, if you're watching this, like, thank you for saying that. And thank you for being patient with me. And I'm sorry that you had to endure all these moments of conflict on my behalf, because I was filled with outrage at that time that I was trying to spend hours with the Lord, and I just wanted to be left alone to do it. You know what I mean? I'm really grateful for that time now, that I was able to go through that in that way. So it brings me to where I am now, to where I am at peace and being able to spend as much time as I want with the Lord, you know, in prayer, in meditation. I'm in a season of my life where I'm Matthew 16:25 and I'm losing my life for the sake of the Lord so that I could find it. So if you really want to Matthew 16:25 your life, it's important that you take that step, that towards loving the Lord more at the expense of loving your family. You know, forego an increasing amount of quality time with your family to go be with the Lord, and you will be blessed. Okay, your family will be also blessed, right? And it's not so, it's purely so that you can get the blessing, right? Because we're not preaching the prosperity gospel on here. It's so that you grow in that sacrificial love, so that you love the Lord in a way that costs you, because the Lord gave everything on the cross to save you and to love you and to profess his love for all humanity. Okay, so in growing and participating with that aspect of his nature, the sacrificial nature of God, it's important that start to move yourself and your soul towards passing the family test. You know, the detachment from your family test, the detachment from created things. You know what I mean? Whoever does not hate father, mother, brother, sister, and wife, and his own life cannot be my disciple. Plain and simple. You know, so, you know, it's one of the harder aspects of the faith to actually live, and it takes a practice. It takes a long time. I had to go through many seasons of depression. It really caused me to be depressed multiple times, to have that conflict. You know what I mean? It caused me really intense sadness. But the Lord's waiting for you, and the Lord knows that it's not easy. So I hope that you know, this whole me telling you this, or that I went through it, you know, is making you feel like you're not alone. And if you're going through something like that, you know, it's not forever. It's not forever. It's a season of your life. Even if it's like, for me, it was something that lasted a few years. There comes to that point where you just finally can't take it anymore. And you say, well, even if I have to leave my home, I have left my home to go live in my car a couple of times so that I can be with the Lord in peace. Right? And man, those were some great times. You know, it wasn't always, I don't want to make it sound like it was all joy, because you're alone. You're more alone. Those are some of the loneliest times that I've had in my whole life, where I really felt desolate, like there's nobody. And as much as it's what I thought I wanted, I had those very human moments where I was just like, man, but we're really on planet Julio with Jesus. So my heart goes out to you sincerely. If that's what you're going through, it's not forever. It's so that you can grow in virtue, and so that you can grow in offering that sacrificial love to the Lord as he offered it to us. You know what I mean? But this has been the Son of the Most Sorrowful. And I pray in Jesus' mighty name that the peace of the Lord be always with you by the intercession of Our Lady of Sorrows. I'll see you at the next one. God bless you.